Hey guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris and I just got done watching Bumblebee. And with Bumblebee, it takes place in 1987. It stars Hailee Stienfeld and she plays Charlie. And she's your stereotypical outsider girl, rebellious to her family, not really any close friends in school. Not to mention she's also suffering with the loss of her father and having to deal with a new stepfather in her life. All of that gets much harder to deal with when a strange alien being crash lands onto Earth and befriends her in the form of a beetle Volkswagen. From here on, Charlie will learn of a world far beyond her own and also learn what it means to befriend with an alien robot. And that's all pretty much said without giving any spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler-free review. I'm just going to tell you what I liked about the film, what I didn't like, hit you with a rating system just like this one, breaking down the elements of the film and giving you a final ranking. And starting off being honest with you guys, I'm a casual fan of the Transformers, not just the movies, but the cartoons, the toys. It was just a little bit past my time, and while I was growing up, there was no real cartoons that I could admire and grow to love. And by the time the Michael Bay movies came out, I was about a teen and in that phase where I just hated every movie because it was cool to do that. Still, I'll say I'm a fan of the first and the third Transformers movies. I enjoy those as sort of guilty pleasures. They're not the best. Maybe the first one still is a good movie, but from there on we can all agree that they're not really great pieces of work. And with Bumblebee, more or less the same. And I know that's going to be a bit of a shocker to you guys, but let me go into some of the positives about this movie. For one, I am extremely happy that this will be the first movie, the 6th installment in the Transformers franchise, and we finally get a new director behind the wheel. This is directed by Travis Knight, and he's most notably known for Kubo and the Two Strings, a dandy little film that I happen to like, and was really excited for him to take on the directing wheel and just get a fresh look of what it's like going into the Transformers world when it's not Michael Bay giving us explosions, hot women, and stereotypical racist jokes thrown at us that we laugh at, but maybe we shouldn't be laughing. There was definitely a different vibe, and I'll say the first 5 to 10 minutes of this movie was everything I wanted a Transformers movie to be. You get to start right in Cybertron, and if you've seen those trailers, you can imagine those scenes are pretty epic. And they really are, and all that, those 5-10 minutes, better than anything Michael Bay created in his series. I was in awe. The movie started hot and heavy. I can only imagine what a real Transformers fan was feeling when this was happening on screen. But honestly, after Bumblebee lands on Earth and he begins his mission, that what he's supposed to do in this movie, it starts diving down a bit because we get into some familiar ground that reminds us of the Transformers series. They flesh out Bumblebee more than they did in the other Transformers series. He finally gets a true voice, and he's voiced by Dylan O'Brien. Now, I was kind of hesitant about that, but when you listen to it in the movie, I think it's perfect because it's an innocent young voice and still has that manly quality that I'm like, okay, this could be a soldier, but he sounds naive, like he would make some dumb choices. But honestly, in describing the other parts of the movie, to me, I have to go into some of the negatives. I thought because we were having a new director, a different writer who didn't create the other Transformers movies, Michael Bay was just a producer and I didn't think he had a lot to say, we were going to get a really different movie. And from the trailers, it feels like that. It feels like a coming of age story mixed in with the Transformers, fights on Cybertron, a focus on Bumblebee, and it was set in the 80s. Who doesn't love a good nostalgia 80s film? And they were on the right track in the beginning of this movie because they had me hooked and I was locked into the story of what was going on, the character of Bumblebee and his mission. And then the middle of the movie is nothing but teenage angst, pulling pranks, I feel lonely in this world, a cliche story about a girl who lost her father and just can't deal with that. And then things that I hated about the Transformers series, which was bringing in the military along with John Cena. Now, I love John Cena, great actor, as he can be as an action star. But when you bring the military and the Transformers, there's only one way you can go with it. It's, can we trust them? But we do want their technology. That's it. Everything involving the military and the Transformers is summed up to that. I don't understand why the people carrying on the Transformer franchise believes that we can't focus on the robots themselves as the main character and we have to have these human characters lead the story, worry about their personal problems when there's a galaxy at stake, planets at stake, a whole race of robots at stake. And to me, it just didn't mix well, and the 80s vibe felt very cliche and a gimmick because all you're doing this for is for the soundtrack, for the feel of the movie. Honestly, you could have made this in modern time and it really wouldn't have changed the movie all that much. To me, I left just slightly disappointed with this Bumblebee movie. I'll still say though, even with the disappointment I had, it's still on par with the first Transformers movie. This is probably my favorite Transformers movie thus far. So it's no way Revenge of the Fallen, it's no way the last two Transformers movie. It is a good movie, but I feel they're headed in the exact same direction where they ended up. They're not really taking the separate steps. They're not really trying to go outside of their formula. They think they know what we like in a Transformers movie. They give us those cliches, add in the robots fighting, which is some of the best stuff in this movie. Every time robots are fighting in this movie, you love it. But I will say, you've seen this Transformers movie done before, and just to focus on Bumblebee doesn't make it different enough, I think, to the other movies. Alright, so for Bumblebee, I'm gonna give action 4 stars. I actually really enjoyed the action in this movie, and there was plenty of it. It was spread out throughout the film. The first 10 minutes and then the last 10 minutes, great stuff. Comedy in the film, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. There weren't a lot of funny moments. There were very reminiscent moments of silly comedy throughout this movie involving Bumblebee and basically destroying a house and pulling some pranks. Not to mention the forced love interest in this movie that just really did not need to be included. Drama in the film, I'm gonna give it 2 stars because a chunk of the film just ignores that drama and isn't brought back until the end of the movie. Horror in the film, I'm gonna give it no stars. There's nothing really to be frightened about. This is an action movie. There's no blood, there's no guts. It's just the Transformers fighting. And suspense of the film, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. Again, because a bulk of the movie is just about this teenage angst story with Bumblebee and Transformers mixed into it, and there's no real suspense till the beginning and the end. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a B+. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a B+. And critically, I'm going to give it a C+. For Bumblebee, I recommend you watch this in theaters. I know it sounds like I'm being kind of harsh on the movie, but that's just because I had these expectations, a new director, a new way of the story to go, and they're really just retreading their old steps. But like a doofus, I'm still gonna have my fingers crossed and be in the seat for the next Transformers movies because who just doesn't love robots fighting? Be sure to leave me your thoughts on the movie down below if you got around to watch it. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.